What's going on, everyone? So, the whole NBA is at a standstill right now, waiting for Damian Lillard, and maybe to a lesser degree, James Harden. I don't even think James Harden's necessarily going to get traded, personally. I actually think James Harden's probably going to stay with Philly, but time will tell. We'll see. Maybe somebody ponies up, especially if Dame does go to Miami, or maybe if Dame goes elsewhere, maybe another team looks at it and goes, man, we could use James Harden if we want to compete, right? Like if Miami, I don't know, if they end up botching it and Dame goes to the Celtics or something like that. Maybe people are like, oh man, like nobody's beating the Celtics and the Suns unless we get a James Harden. I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see how it all develops. We know the NBA basically sent a letter saying like, hey, Dame can't just say like he's only going to Miami and that's it. But Miami is actively working from what we've heard. Although there have been reports that like the Blazers haven't really been a team that's like really engaged seriously about trading Dame. I wouldn't even be shocked if Dame ends up staying a Laker at this point. I don't know. Or staying a Heat at this point. But time will tell. We'll see how it goes. But obviously, reason I accidentally slipped up and said Lakers is because this is a Laker channel. Talk about Lakers. And Dame's not going to Lakers. But we're waiting on Christian Wood. Right? We've gotten the reports that Christian Wood is a top priority for the Lakers. Christian Wood makes a lot of sense for Lakers. I get there's the locker room concerns, character issues, stuff like that. Lakers believe that they can make it work. Lakers actively want Christian Wood, but there is a real opportunity for Miami to land Christian Wood in a real thought process. Now, I made a whole video about this. Go check out this video after this video, of course, where I basically clarify what was said recently about Jovan Buha. Yesterday, Jovan Buha was on Lakers Nation talking about Christian Wood, and he said his feelings, the way he feels, and his, thinking essentially is that Christian Wood wants to go to Miami, or that Miami makes more sense for Christian Wood, right? Again, he didn't say Christian Wood told him this, or someone in his camp told him this, or, Christian Wood's family told him this, nothing like that. He just said that his thoughts and his feelings, him personally thinks Miami is a real play for Christian Wood. And that makes a world of sense, right? You talking, Damian Lillard, assuming they get Damian Lillard, Josh Richardson, Jimmy Butler, Christian Wood, and Bam Adebayo. That's a very good, that's a team that can win an NBA championship, right? Like that's very good. Plus they still have other pieces that could be nice. I mean, we'll see how gutted they get from the Dame trade if that ever ends up happening. But nonetheless, look, Lakers could potentially not get Christian Wood. And one of the things that Jovan did say in that I've even relayed is like, do the Lakers just move on? Right? Do the Lakers, because the Lakers do have two open roster spots. They have the 14th and 15th roster spot. Lakers have said that they're going to fill that 14th spot before training camp. We're still like 7-8 weeks, something like that before training camp. Training camp will probably be like October 3rd, October 4th, somewhere in that ballpark. And so, got some time, right? Got like a month and a half before training camp actually starts. And do the Lakers just say, hey, it's time to move off Christian Wood? If we do sign him, great. But we can sign him with that 15th roster spot. Let's go lock up a center now. Now, again, there's no major rush, just simply on the fact that like nobody's making moves. But we have seen several pieces end up already get removed from the market, right? And do other teams end up looking at it as like, well, we're tired of waiting, right? Like, let's say this Dame thing lasts till training camp, right? Or close to training camp. Do teams say like, hey, we're like 2 weeks from camp. Let's just start getting the guys that we want to get, right? And the last thing you want is pieces that could help end up not being there because you're waiting for Christian Wood. It's the Kawhi Leonard situation all over again, where the Lakers could have went and got Kawhi Leonard, or they thought they were going to get Kawhi Leonard, and missed out on a bunch of free agents that they could have gotten that probably would have made more sense with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, but they really believed they were getting Kawhi Leonard, And he ends up spurning them and going to the Clippers, and they had to like scramble on the fly and put a roster together. Luckily, it worked out, but still, it's very possible that it didn't. And so the Lakers aren't in that position, right? Like the Lakers already have the roster essentially locked up, right? The Lakers are in great position. They got size, they got depth, they got versatility. They have everything you could want and need as far as a roster goes, but they are thin at the center position, right? Right now, they basically have Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes. Now, could they bring in a Colin Castleton and have him run as a third big? Sure, right? Of course, that's definitely an option, but like, he's a rookie. I do think he's a guy you could throw in for 10 minutes and he would be fine and hold his own, but how much do you want to have to rely on him? Plus, Anthony Davis is probably missing 30-plus games this year. So, if you're the Lakers, do you go get a Myers Leonard now? Right? Get him locked up. Because even if you get Christian Wood, like let's say you sign Myers Leonard today, and Christian Wood says, tomorrow, hey, I'm coming to you. Like, let's go. It's not like, man, we just signed Myers Leonard. Sorry, Wood. Like, no, you could still sign Wood with the 15th spot. And it makes more sense because Christian Wood is better at the 4 anyway. And Myers Leonard or any of these like vet guys are more than likely going to understand the role that they're just going to be happy to be on a roster, right? So it's like, hey man, you're going to have a lot of DMPs, right? But Anthony Davis is going to miss 20 to 30 games. Those games you're probably going to get 20 minutes a game, or if Jackson Hayes has the night off or Christian Wood has the night off or whatever, you're going to get 20 or 30 minutes. I think he'd be fine with that. And worst case scenario, you could always just waive the guy. Like, what's wrong with signing a Myers Leonard to a non-guaranteed deal? Right now, look, I think, and I'll dive more into this once we get closer to training camp, but I think the Lakers probably bring in like several centers for training camp, right? Like, because you always see most teams will bring in like, 20 guys or whatever into training camp, right? And they do that so that way they can kind of try guys out and see who's worthy of the roster. Not just that, but like their two-way guys will probably be at training camp and see if any of them deserve a roster spot or whatever. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like signing Myers Leonard. Like, sign Myers Leonard now to like an Exhibit 10 or whatever. Like, you're seeing other teams sign these guys. Like, sign somebody to just a training camp invite or sign somebody to a non-guaranteed deal. Like, go get Myers Leonard. Go get whomever. Like, I know people want, like, Dwight Howard. I'm not really sold on Dwight, right? Like, it's just, he's not the guy he once was. He's not 2020 Dwight. Last stint did not go very well. He did not look good at all. There was problems in the locker room. Granted, that Lakers team was just an absolute mess, period. So, was it just a product of the circumstance? But he's over there fighting Anthony Davis on the bench and stuff like that. Like, look, stuff happens, but like, is that what you want to bring in with this young core? I mean, he can't even get a new contract in Taiwan. Like, they wanted to cut his salary by like 90% or whatever it was, and he was pissed about it and was crying about it because they were like, he's just messing up. Like, he's just messing around in the locker room. He's not taking it serious. He's not like, so you can't even show face in Taiwan and you expect NBA teams to look at that and go, oh yeah, this is a guy that's going to come in and play that role. It's like, but it's Rob Pelinka, I do think needs to look into somebody. I'm still in the camp of like Hassan Whiteside. I don't think that would be bad. There's DeMarcus Cousins, but he recently got hurt in the Puerto Rico games. Like, do you bring in like a Serge Ibaka? Do you try to bring in like a younger guy? I personally like the idea of a vet guy though. I do. Like, I really like the idea of like bringing in a veteran that's going to understand his role. He's not going to expect to play a bunch of minutes, but has the experience. You can throw him in a pinch. If you need him for a big moment, he can step in for a big moment, but also be a vocal leader, a locker room presence, a guy that can, help mentor some of these younger guys and stuff. Kind of be like a Jared Dudley, where like, even Jared Dudley played from time to time, but like it wasn't big, right? Like, that's what I'd rather go. But look, at the end of the day, I trust Rob Pelinka. I trust him to make the right decisions. He's a very patient guy, as we've seen, and his patience seems to always pay off. So obviously there's that. And again, like, it's not like people are rushing to the door to go sign. Like, most of these guys are probably still going to be available, right? Like, Serge Ibaka will probably still be available. Myers Leonard probably will still be available. But there is the risk of, like, do some of these other teams just get sick of waiting around and start snatching up, a Bismack Biyombo, Myers Leonard, Serge Ibaka, or whatever, where it's just like, all right, well, now it's just like a bunch of unknown guys and, vet guys that have been out of the league for the last year, right? Is that like that the best course of action, right? Is that like what you want to do if you're the Lakers? So I don't know. I wouldn't mind some news of like, hey, Lakers just signed Myers Leonard or anybody, right, to do a non-guaranteed deal or a training camp deal or, whatever. Like, I wouldn't mind it. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Think the Lakers should stop waiting around for Christian Wood? If he comes, sign him with the 15th spot. Go lock up your 14th spot. Do you think no? Continue to be patient. See what develops. Because there is also the possibility of the buyouts, right? Like, that's another big thing. That's another important thing, right? So, like, let's say Dame gets traded and teams start buying out guys, or, there's talks about a JaVale McGee potentially getting bought out. Does teams start making moves to get rid of some guys, and the Lakers' patience ends up paying off, where it's like, we just signed a Myers Leonard. That's why I kind of like the idea of like signing him to like a training camp deal, right? Like locking him up now, and it's like, okay, well, now you got him for then, and if you do sign somebody, well, then you can bring him in with the 15th spot, or you could just waive him, right? Like, and it's not a big deal. You're only bringing him in for training camp, right? Like, I don't know. It's just kind of a thought, but anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel about it, down in the comments.